to Discover La Jolla, where we showcase the jewel of San Diego, and that's La Jolla, California. I'm your host, Jim McInerney, and this morning I'm honored to have Marshall McInerney in the studio with us, representing La Jolla Kayak and talking a little bit about La Jolla Kayak and his experiences there over the summers. Tell us a little bit about La Jolla Kayak. You've worked there for what, 3 or 4 summers?
4 summers.
Okay.
And it's been a fantastic experience to be able to meet tourists, locals, San Diegans, just people coming through, and kind of teach them a little bit about La Jolla history, local flora, local fauna, all that kind of stuff. Makes me feel like a diet marine biologist.
And so tell us about La Jolla Kayak. What is it and where is it?
So it is located right on La Jolla Shores, right on Avenida de la Playa.
Okay.
And it originally started with my manager just running kayak tours out of his garage, and it's now boomed to the largest kayak tour in San Diego.
Okay.
So what we do is we start on the shores right around the beach and tennis club, and we take our guided tours over to the La Jolla Caves and back, which is approximately a mile.
Wow. Okay.
Both ways, and teach them a little bit about history, about previous residents, and about some of the geological and ecological
And marine.
aspects of the area.
So you guys are out on the ocean.
Yeah.
What are you seeing when you take people out on the ocean in these guided kayak tours?
So, I mean, I would say seagulls, but you're obviously going to see the state fish, the Garibaldi, kind of near the caves.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might see some smaller fish like your opaleye or your surf perch. Mm-hmm. And if you get really lucky, there's also a local pod of dolphins that swims through, sea turtles every now and then, every blue moon.
It's got to be pretty exciting for people coming from like the Midwest, or, I mean, you're taking out people, I would assume, that have never been in the ocean?
Yes.
Maybe don't even know how to swim?
I would say at this point I've probably taken out half of Arizona.
Okay. And that's just got to be extremely thrilling for people to be out on the ocean and see the dolphins or see, what else? Sea lions?
Sea lions, absolutely.
Leopard sharks?
Leopard sharks near Devil's Slides.
Okay. What is Devil's Slides?
So Devil's Slides is actually one half of the fault line that connects right where the caves are. It's the Rose Canyon fault line, or an offshoot of that. And Devil's Slides is made out of sandstone. So it creates this natural striation pattern of which the rocks are shaped diagonally, which kind of creates this cool little hidden beach that you can only get to if you were to have a paddleboard or a kayak. So there's a lot of locals that like to post up over there. But it's also one of the largest leopard shark nurseries on the West Coast, because it is so incredibly shallow that those rocks heat up, and it actually speeds up the gestation process for those leopard sharks. So their pregnancy is cut a couple months short.
Quite a bit to see from where you launch them all the way over to the caves. And how many caves are there?
So there are 7 named caves,
Okay.
but 2 of which actually are worth their salt and have interesting stories and history behind them. But Scripps is designated and named all 7.
So you're sharing the history of La Jolla with these people that are in the kayak with you, that are going over to the caves. You're talking about, obviously, the marine life, the geology, like you mentioned. Are you also talking about the houses up on the bluff? Because there's some pretty amazing homes up there on that bluff.
Well, it's hard not to recognize the houses. I mean, as soon as the tour starts and we give our little introduction, you are faced right next to the Sandcastle house, right at the beginning of the tide pools.
Yep.
So people always have questions about that, and that just kind of sparks the conversation. And a few of our other stops where we talk about geology are kind of backset by just some of these fantastic houses that we have just lining the cliff face. And people are always asking how much, how old are they, when were they built? So it was kind of nice to have a dad that's a real estate agent, just to have some numbers in my back pocket to throw out, so I wasn't just making up
some terms
that
you could throw out there.
Yeah, 100%.
And is that I mean, has seemed to have led you into more of a fascination with real estate inside La Jolla a little bit through the kayak tours?
It has. I would say once you realize that every house has a story, and bear with me because it's going to be cheesy. You want to learn more about it. You want to learn about the history and the title.
Who lived there?
Yeah, previous tenants.
How has it changed?
Exactly, remodels. It really kind of paints this picture of La Jolla as like this constantly changing location, but at its core that fundamentally stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cliffs around La Jolla Farms, top of Soledad, that's all going to be fantastic real estate. Uh, but the part that's really interesting is seeing how the people that move here or the locals decide to put their own personal flair and self-expression into these houses, which is what I really love about La Jolla is just the variety of house.
Mm-hmm.
You can have anything from Spanish adobe to modern contemporary, and no one really bats an eye. It's this great amalgamation of architecture, history, and culture.
That's pretty very true.
Thank you.
And what a neat way for people visiting La Jolla and certainly residents of La Jolla to experience La Jolla. Like a lot of people have never been to that little area of the cove out on the ocean.
Yes. And I would say one of the biggest boons of our company is that a lot of the workers are actually locals. So after they get to explore this wonderful pocket of the beach and La Jolla Shores and dine at some of those restaurants down there, the tour guides, if they're doing their job, would always follow it up with other local things to do and places to check out, viewpoints, restaurants, exactly, recommendations to do for the rest of their stay to really, truly sink in La Jolla while you have the time.
That's interesting. Like you really are almost an ambassador to La Jolla because now these people are turning to you and asking, where should we take the kids to dinner? Or what do you think about going to the zoo or SeaWorld or all these other things that they could do in San Diego?
100%. I mean, when I travel, it's always nice to talk to a local, and kind of get the lowdown on what places people actually go to and where to get the best fish tacos and where is the best place to watch the sunset. So to be able to kind of bequeath that knowledge to people whose first time it is ever in San Diego or La Jolla in general, I think it's really rewarding to be able to do that.
And now it seems like it's rewarding that you've become more involved with real estate through giving La Jolla kayak tours.
Absolutely, because it just all kind of ties together. I'm very proud of where I was raised and the schools I went to and the people that I've met. So it truly does just feel like an extension of giving back to the community.
And what excites you about the real estate industry now that you're learning more about it?
I think the biggest thing that I'm learning is just how precise it is.
What do you mean by that?
I grew up with my father, mostly just taking calls or sending emails, and I'm starting to learn a little bit more about what that actually looks like. A real estate deal really is this art form of making sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted and not a single line is out of place. Because as you know very well, an escrow is really 100% to get it 100%. To get a deal done, everything has to be basically polished and well refined. So making sure that all the little things have been taken care of, the CC&Rs, the easements, especially dealing with things like trusts, just really focusing on the small things and making sure that the seller and the buyer are both satisfied is something that I didn't really think of until I actually had to dive into that world.
It's pretty amazing that you're starting to learn about that from just being out on the ocean, floating in a kayak, giving tourists and residents tours of our beautiful city and beautiful area.
I mean, we all have to start somewhere, right?
That's right. What a great way to explore La Jolla. I highly recommend that our viewers take the time and go rent a kayak and go to La Jolla Kayak and see the beautiful coast in La Jolla and the cove and the caves and the beautiful homes and the beaches.
Absolutely. I would recommend.
It's a must do.
It is, especially with the weather as nice as it is. I would say any day is a great day for it. Check the clarity, but you're going to see a lot. You're going to meet a lot of great people, and they're probably going to point you to a good place to get a burrito afterwards. So I could not recommend it enough. I'm very proud that I worked there.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you, Marshall, for coming in. And there's another episode of Discover La Jolla, learning more about it. And we will see you on the next episode of Discover La Jolla. Stay tuned.